3 days before Christmas, my parents sent me one short text that destroyed me inside. Better if Rachel doesn't show up. Can you imagine? Being erased from your own family's holiday like you're nothing but a stain? I stared at my phone, my hands shaking, wondering how the people who raised me could cut me off so coldly. Before I take you further, make sure you like this video. Hit subscribe and share it because what happened next will leave you shocked. You don't want to miss how this story turns. Rachel dropped her phone on the bed, her heart pounding. Christmas had always been her favorite season. The lights, the laughter, the smell of her mom's cinnamon rolls filling the house. But this year, her parents had decided she wasn't good enough to sit at their table. Not after she lost her job. Not after the whispers about her being a failure. Her brother Michael was probably behind this. He'd been flaunting his big city banking job for months, sneering every time Rachel walked into the room. "She's 30 and broke," he had once joked at Thanksgiving, making everyone laugh while Rachel sat in silence, cheeks burning. Her parents never defended her, not once. Now, just days before Christmas, they had made their choice. Michael, the perfect son, was in. Rachel, the embarrassment, was out. But what they didn't know was that Rachel had been working in silence, building something they could never imagine. For months, while they mocked her, she was quietly running late nights, locked in her tiny apartment, pouring every ounce of energy into a project she hadn't told a soul about. As she read the cruel text again, Rachel felt her sadness harden into something else. Fire. Instead of replying with tears, she typed one chilling line back to her parents. "Don't worry, you'll understand why soon." Her parents didn't reply. They didn't know that their cruel message had just awakened the side of Rachel they thought would never exist. And by Christmas Eve, their laughter would turn into shock. Rachel didn't sleep that night. She sat at her desk, the glow of her laptop lighting up her tired face. Every number, every chart, every notification on her screen reminded her of one thing. She wasn't the same failure they thought she was. For months, she had been running a silent business online, trading, negotiating deals, and investing in digital assets. The account balance staring back at her now had more zeros than her brother Michael's entire yearly salary. The cruel text kept replaying in her mind. Better if Rachel doesn't show up. It wasn't just rejection, it was betrayal. Her own parents, the people who were supposed to stand by her, had sided with the son who mocked her, and this time Rachel wasn't going to let it slide. The next morning, she scrolled through the family group chat. Photos of the decorated house, piles of gifts under the tree, Michael holding up his expensive watch with a smirk. Everything screamed perfect family without her. Rachel's lips curved into a bitter smile. Let them laugh now. Soon they'll choke on it. She decided she wouldn't show up empty-handed on Christmas Eve. No, she'd arrive with something far more powerful than gifts. She started making calls, first to her lawyer, then to her assistant, arranging one final move that would tie all her silent hard work into a single explosive surprise. But here's the twist. Rachel wasn't just planning to prove them wrong. She was planning to take back something that Michael thought was untouchable. A contract, a deal that their entire family's reputation rested on. Christmas Eve wasn't going to be about family dinners anymore. It was about payback. And Rachel was ready to flip the table. The snow crunched under Rachel's boots as she walked toward the glowing house she once called home. Laughter spilled out from inside, the kind of laughter that used to include her, before she became the family's favorite target. She tightened her grip on the leather folder in her hand. Inside, it wasn't a gift, but something that would shatter every smug smile waiting beyond that door. As she stepped in, all eyes turned. Her mother's face stiffened, her father's jaw clenched, and Michael smirked like a king guarding his throne. "Rachel," he said loudly so everyone could hear. "I thought you got the message. Or couldn't you afford to stay away?" Guests chuckled. Whispers floated around the room, and Rachel stood silent, her eyes steady. Her mother forced a laugh. "Well, she came anyway. Rachel, you didn't need to embarrass yourself." The words cut sharp, and everyone turned back to their drinks and gossip, already dismissing her. But Rachel didn't move. She simply placed the folder on the table, right between the trays of food and the champagne glasses. Michael noticed first, his smile faltering. "What's that? Some kind of charity letter?" He sneered. Rachel looked him dead in the eye. No, it's the new ownership papers. The room went quiet. Forks stopped midair. Her father frowned. Ownership of what? Rachel's voice was calm, but every word carried weight. Of the company that signed a multi-million-dollar deal with you last week. The same deal Michael has been bragging about all night. She paused, scanning their shocked faces. It's mine now. Every single share. Gasps filled the room, whispers erupted, and Michael's face drained of color. That's impossible, he stammered. I handled everything. Rachel leaned forward slightly, her voice slicing through the silence. While you were busy mocking me, I was busy buying out the people you depended on. And tonight, I came not for your approval, but to remind you that I don't need it. The house, once filled with mocking laughter, was now frozen in stunned silence. Michael's hands trembled as he snatched the folder and tore through the documents. The color drained from his face with every page he turned. His voice cracked, desperate. This isn't real. It can't be. You don't have the money. You never did. Rachel's lips curved into the faintest smile. I didn't need to have money, Michael. I needed to have vision. I partnered with people who believed in me, who trusted me, and who wanted to see you fall. While you were busy laughing at me, I was learning. Every deal you made, every careless brag you threw around, it all led me here. Her father slammed his glass down, his voice harsh. You ungrateful child, do you know what you're doing? You're destroying your own bloodline. Rachel turned to him, her eyes sharp but calm. No, father. You destroyed this family the day you chose pride over love, cruelty over kindness. I'm not destroying anything. I'm reclaiming what was stolen from me. Her mother stepped forward, her voice trembling. Rachel, stop this madness. We can fix it. Stay with us. Be part of the family again. We'll find you a place. Rachel's laugh was soft, bitter, but not cruel. A place? You mean like the corner where you shoved me when I wasn't good enough? Or the silence you offered when I begged for your support? She shook her head slowly. No, I don't need a place at your table. I've built my own, and it's bigger than you could ever imagine. The guests murmured, some exchanging shocked glances, others quietly impressed. For the first time, Michael had no words, only a pale face and shaking hands. The power he once held had crumbled in minutes. Rachel straightened her shoulders, her voice steady as she spoke to the entire room. Tonight, I didn't come for revenge. I came to show you that your cruelty didn't break me. It forged me. You taught me pain, and I turned it into power. You left me with nothing, and I built everything. Remember this moment, because it's the last time I'll ever waste my breath on your approval. And with that, she picked up her coat, leaving behind silence so heavy it crushed the laughter that once filled the house. Rachel stepped out of the grand hall, her heels clicking sharply against the marble floor as the heavy doors shut behind her. The cool night air hit her face, carrying with it the muffled chaos of voices still erupting inside. She paused for a moment on the steps, looking up at the glittering city lights. For the first time in years, her chest felt lighter, as if the chains that had bound her to her family's cruelty had finally shattered. Her driver quickly approached, opening the car door with a respectful nod. But before stepping in, Rachel noticed reporters gathering at the edge of the estate, cameras flashing, voices calling her name. They had seen everything unfold, and the world was hungry for her story. Instead of hiding, she walked toward them with calm confidence. Ms. Rachel, what do you have to say about tonight? One shouted. Rachel met their gazes, her voice firm and unwavering. What happened tonight wasn't about wealth or power. It was about truth. I was silenced, cast aside, and treated as if I was nothing. But I learned something along the way. You don't need their approval to rise. You just need courage to keep going. The cameras clicked rapidly, catching every word. A few reporters exchanged nods, recognizing the weight of her message. Rachel gave them a small smile before finally slipping into the car. As the vehicle pulled away, she leaned back against the seat, closing her eyes. The mansion behind her grew smaller, fading into the distance like a chapter she had finally closed. Ahead of her stretched a future she had built with her own hands, free from the shadows of betrayal. Inside the car, her phone buzzed, a flood of messages from people who had seen the live broadcast. Investors, supporters, even strangers, all writing the same thing. You inspire us. You've shown us it's possible to rise after being broken. For the first time in years, Rachel allowed herself to smile, not out of victory over her family, but out of peace. The war was over, and she had won. Rachel's car rolled to a stop outside her own towering headquarters, the empire she had built from scratch. As she stepped inside, her employees greeted her with respect and warmth, a stark contrast to the cold indifference she once endured from her family. For years, she had craved acceptance from those who never valued her. Now she realized she had created a new family, one of loyalty, trust, and genuine admiration. Later that night, standing on her office balcony, she looked out over the glittering city skyline. The same city where she had once been abandoned, humiliated, and forgotten, was now the place where her name carried strength and dignity. Her family's mansion and their hollow pride no longer mattered. They were pieces of a past that no longer had power over her. Rachel whispered softly into the night, almost to herself. I didn't need revenge. I only needed to rise. The wind carried her words away, but deep down, she knew they would echo forever in the lives she had touched. Her story wasn't about hatred or payback. It was about survival, strength, and finding her worth where others tried to erase it. With a calm smile, she turned back inside. The doors closed behind her, not in finality, but in triumph. Rachel's journey had come full circle. She was no longer the forgotten daughter. She was the woman who turned her scars into power and walked into a future entirely her own.